for your first cappuccino.
Yeah.
How can he be meeting Donna if he's a New Kids on the Block in the 80s?
I'm up with you, Don. That was real.
But now I'm just hanging tough.
What I did was Khobe and
He does not have the right stuff, baby.
Hi there, and welcome to another episode of 411 Pop Culture, where real people talk about really everything. I'm Justin, this is Danielle, and tonight, super excited, we're going to be watching Dawn, Twilight's Child, the third installment in the Cutler series. Are you excited?
I'm so excited because we haven't
too.
seen a preview of it yet, so
We
I
haven't, yeah.
know nothing.
Yeah, I started to see, because we waited to watch to see if there was a trailer at the end of whatever we were watching, and there wasn't. I kind of looked for one, couldn't find one. The only thing I could find was this scene, a preview scene. I started to watch it for 2 seconds and then turn it off because I'm like, I don't want anything to be kind of ruined for this. But I did catch that it does look like Donna Mills is going to be in this one, which I'm super excited about.
Me too.
And I'm also excited. Well, it's been very cool. I'm going to keep everybody anonymous because I don't, I can see their names when they leave a notification, but I've noticed that some of them are private names. So I'm not going to say anybody's names, but it's been really cool. Some of the cast and crew have reached out, and it's been just really cool. So, and what's really cool too is they're some of our favorite performers from this. So thank you for that. And I know that you're all enjoying it out there. Definitely, I've noticed from the comments that it's been overwhelmingly positive. I feel the same way. I feel like this is right up there for me with the Laundry series. I thought the Laundry series was pretty perfect as far as an adaptation goes, and this one's also pretty perfect. So I feel like so far these are the two best series as a whole. And again, we're not even through this one yet, so far, really good. I'm excited though because I feel like we look at the grandmother or Emily for the first couple novels as the villains, but I do like the Veras, the Clara Sues, the Giselles, and I feel like in Twilight's Child we get a little bit more of that. In this one we should be getting Fern kind of introduced, so some of the younger villains. And I do think that so far, even when reading the books, you always want a little bit more Giselle, a little bit more Clara Sue, Clara Jean, however you want to go. And so I'm excited because I think that they've all been doing a really good job. So I'm excited to see how it's going to play out. But
It's also easier to hate a character on paper.
Sure.
And then when you start to see their performance and it really comes to life, you're like, but I love them as a villain now.
Yes,
So it's to me, that's what I'm feeling in these performances.
Yeah, and I thought everybody in the last one did a great job. I feel like Trish was amazing. We had our mixed feelings about Joey McIntyre, but overall I think he did a good job. Yeah. It's just, again, he's a bit older than Michael from the novels. Yeah. But it was sort of a nice glimpse, as I mentioned last time, where we get to kind of see how it would have been if they had had a Paul and a Petals of the Wind adaptation with Kierna Shipka. Yeah. It's that uncomfortable feeling, and they're obviously going for that, and I think that makes sense for a Lifetime adaptation. So, but anyway, let's not keep in further suspense. As always, it helps a lot. Please consider subscribing if you're enjoying what you're seeing. Please give us a thumbs up, and please comment below. Let's get going for Dawn, Twilight's Child. Ooh, getting kind of to see Cutler's Cove, the water beach part of it. Oh, are they just cutting right to it there to get her back?
It's been 2 years.
Yeah. No, they just kind of skipped right to it.
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about that. I'm fine with them kind of making a cut to get us a little bit further ahead, but I always kind of liked that scene. It was a hard scene because the people that kind of adopted Christy really loved her and wanted her, and it was going to be a hard thing, and they were going to have to fight. But at the last minute, I think the adopted dad, kind of was like, I don't want to put my wife through this. Let's just do this.
You got her. Thanks, Austin. This is my daughter, Christy. Hey, sis. Grandma tried to get rid of her, but guess you got your bastard back. Aren't you even a little bit more embarrassed?
So evil.
Embarrassed about what? And then before that, what's his name? The guy that you thought was your brother? And then before that, Philip, your actual brother.
That's what I was kind of saying in the intro. You don't get enough, Clara Sue in the last book. Lillian, we said that last time. You don't get enough Lillian in Secrets of the Morning.
Call my daughter a bastard again, and it'll be the last thing you ever say. That sounds like a physical threat, Dawn. I'm your boss. Watch your mouth or I'll have you thrown out. How's that? You can't kick me out. Always another shoe to drop.
It's really strange not seeing a computer on the desk.
Yeah, right.
especially now. But that really does, you know, put it in its setting, and
Yeah.
that would be pretty overwhelming to, like, you inherit a hotel and you have no idea what to do, you know.
Next week, someone orders
Mr. Nussbaum.
until the trucker strike ends. We need to find.
Well, and this is why she has to kind of let go of her dreams, you know.
Yeah.
I have some great news.
Oh, thank God I can use it.
Best volume in this one.
5 cents. Randolph, do you have any idea the financial trouble the hotel is in?
Perfectly fine with it.
Oh, Randolph, here he goes. Well, and this one's kind of cool, too, because I remember it really does take place at the hotel for most of the story.
Can't do this. Yes, you can.
Although, as I'm saying that, I know that a lot of fans are probably upset that the beginning was kind of cut.
The hotel.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it.
I'm not happy about it. Like I said, it was a good couple scenes,
There's no law that says you have to
but I could just see the comments already. I hear ya. I know.
You are the same. Don, will you marry me?
Yes!
Yeah? Really?
I will say, too, as far as the whole incest of V.C. Andrews novels and how we felt going into this about Dawn and Jimmy, I think we kind of made some jokes in the first episode, like, oh, how quickly, you know, she always thought it was her brother, but how quickly she can let that go. Philip, she just met, but she's like, you're my brother, so I can't so quickly.
Yeah.
I will say these adaptations really stretched out or, you know, paced out their relationship enough that I don't have a sort of ick factor.
Yeah, I
Whereas
really
in
like
the-
them together. I actually like them together more than I did in the book.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
In the books, I feel like maybe it's a little too rushed. And it might be to the detriment of the books that we are in Dawn's point of view because we know she has feelings for him right away. Here, having a little bit of distance, you can see them getting together.
I hope you're.
I mean, yeah, that's a fine Bronson.
Yeah.
This month at least.
Forgive me, but do you mind if I have
Laura
a few
like
words with my
looks
mother
like I
and
Dream of Jeannie or something. Like, what is she wearing?
There's no for privacy with Bronson.
It's like so distracting for me.
But that's kind of her character, too, is very extravagant,
Yeah.
very, not earthy, but like this sort of flowiness of it. I can see it. She is sort of flamboyant.
Yes, he is still grieving his mother. He gets plan on going to some justice of the peace.
We haven't discussed it.
Oh, no. Don,
And this is what I was talking about, too, in the previous episodes.
You're going to have
They have a relationship. Like I said, it's not a great relationship.
Yeah.
That's what I was worried about in Dawn when we really weren't seeing them interact. Laura, Sue, and Dawn, they do by Twilight's Child. It's not a great relationship, but they have a relationship like this.
What are you doing here?
I'm just looking after this little angel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, they're bringing the trauma back from all
Yeah,
that.
sure.
I'm sorry, I cursed somebody else.
And I did like Emily. I thought that,
Same old.
She was great.
yeah. Nothing's ever going to be 100%, but I would have given it a 98%. You know, it was that good.
I just met one of Mother's friends, Bronson Alcott. Do you know anything about him?
No, I didn't see so much of him anymore. About the time that Claire Jean was born.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was like, something.
I totally forgot about
I
that.
did too.
Yeah.
It's like how I pictured it, but it's not how I pictured, but it's okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I don't think I ever really had a true visual of it, per se.
Weirdly, I did in terms of colors. I don't know why. Maybe it was just because of the book Twilight's Child. But even before that, reading Dawn, I always thought blue. I always had a lot of blue in my mind for some reason.
I had a lot of dark wood in my mind.
See, really? See, I didn't. But, well, right now we have a little blue and dark wood. But overall, I'm fine with it. Like, I believe it.
Yes.
And like I said, for the longest time, I never thought the Cutler series would be made, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it was never the one talked about.
Jimmy's back.
You like it?
I love it.
They do make a cute couple.
I said you could probably shake it all off.
They really do.
Please don't do that, though.
Speaking of which, though, if he was in the army trying to do his shaved hair right now, the actor wasn't willing to commit, I'm guessing. which is fine because he looks more like Jimmy with hair like that.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, in the army,
True,
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure you have to shave his hair, shave his head.
Don, slow down.
Hey, listen.
Listen.
I don't know. I don't remember Dawn being so forward in the novels, but somebody commented that she was, but I don't remember it. But I feel like she's definitely more forward here than she would have been even in the novels, which is fine. I'm fine with it.
To punish you.
I don't remember her being forward at all in the books, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
So, like, but I'm so wrapped up in this character right now that, like, she's playing it well. But I'm also hesitant because I don't remember Jimmy being so prude in the books either.
Right, exactly.
You know,
I
so
feel
it's
like maybe there were little moments of it, but yeah. Like I honestly am trying to remember. It's been about a year since I last read these.
Tried to clear some bushes away to give her a better view from where she is.
That's fine, Miranda. Let's get you to a doctor, okay?
I remember being so frustrated for Donna in the novels
Yes.
when it would come to Randolph stuff. Like always really frustrated with him, but seeing it too is like really sad.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, they're doing a good job
Yeah.
playing out how he just goes crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry. Did I scare you?
See, people have been commenting that he's not blonde and that Clara
He looks
Jean
like
haven't been
Jordan.
blonde. I feel like he is blonde, and I feel like Clara Jean has also been blonde.
I think it's just darker blonde.
Right,
dirty
it's a darker blonde,
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I always thought. I didn't really think like yellow blonde.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that. Like mother would ever run the risk of people finding out her husband is seeing a shrink.
And I think he makes a good Philip. I, again, never pictured him with the 70s Farrah Fawcett feather.
Right?
But considering that's the
The
time
look
they're
of
setting it in, I'm also fine with that a lot.
Me too.
Because I think he's a really good Philip.
I do too.
I know you for things that happened between us in the past.
Things that happened between us. That's what you call what you did to me.
Whatever happened, we're family. And I hope you
And
This
that's
is where
it's
he
a-
can- well-
right, it's a problem because he didn't do that in this movie. And here, again, it's not like I want it to happen by any means, but him not doing that in the first movie, it makes those things kind of hard to hear.
He tried.
Sure, and
In
I'm
the
willing to
adaptation.
concede to that, like he did, but
And the only reason Jimmy said yes is
it would have a little bit more weight if it had happened.
Because I know he would literally face.
You know what? And I think they could have had a decent relationship if he hadn't done that to her.
Well, exactly.
And that's what just makes this whole thing sad because I think he did genuinely care about her.
Absolutely. And he was kind to her.
Yes.
Whatever his motivation may have been as a teenage boy in high school meeting a girl, he was one of the few people nice to her at Emerson Peabody, knowing that she came from nothing, knowing that his sister didn't like her. Like so that's so the fact that he ended up being horrible and then really terrible makes it all in the novel so crazy, but now it's sort of
I do try to avoid.
I can't remember in the books how apologetic he was about it, or if he was.
well, it would always be kind of an apology and then he would try again.
Yeah.
He got fired from his last Broadway show for being.
Well, he really takes it to creep level in Midnight Whispers.
Oh, well, sure. But in this one too.
Yeah, at the end, I guess.
Yeah, and in Dawn, like it's Philip's kind of a really bad character.
It's like, but when
every
you
novel.
see him on the screen, it's
That's
hard.
what I'm saying,
Yeah.
though. There's a difference
Yeah.
between the two,
Yes.
and it's throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd like to think he's struggling with his conscience.
She really was a good Trish.
Yeah.
John, it's time. Let's get your dress on.
Oh my gosh, those tuxedos are just terrible. But so
Right.
perfect for the time.
Yeah, they're terrible.
I find it really weird, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it has been a minute since I've read these. But where is, as I like to call him, Granddaddy Longchamp?
Oh, right.
Like,
I was expecting Jesse Metcalf, Ormond, to be more a part of this.
and where's little Gavin?
Right,
Was he, I don't know. It's weird that he's not there.
right.
Sorry. I just don't expect Laura Sue to do that, but it was
Right.
like perfect.
I should have known he was up for it.
I guess because it was like, it's just unexpected, but needed. I guess when you're reading the books, you almost like
That's
we
what
were
I said,
saying,
reading it, you do get kind of frustrated
Yes.
for her a lot, yeah.
It's kind of like when you wanted Dawn to slap Claire Sue.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of like, snap out of it, Randall. I don't know. It just caught me off guard. Of course, I don't think it's funny that Randall's having a mental breakdown or anything like that. I just want to be clear. Is Claire or Jean wearing white?
Yeah.
Oh, Randolph.
Oh yeah, I think that's right though. I think Bronson ended up walking her down the aisle. 1897. I always wondered when they were supposed to have her gotta be born. I love how both siblings are a little awkward.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Sorry, it's all I keep thinking about. You're right. I'm surprised Ormond. I can't remember why Ormond wasn't around, but I still thought having Jesse Metcalf cast in this, I would have thought he would have been utilized more, especially how they were making him such like the dad of the year.
Maybe he
in
comes
the first
back in Twilight.
Making the dad of the year in the first movie.
Well, I mean, maybe they'll bring him back more in Midnight Whispers.
Yeah. Although even in that book, he's hardly in it. He's in it. They have a big, great party, I remember at the beginning, and then he's not really in it anymore. I was just surprised. That's kind of ironic, because I don't know if that's how Randolph died in the books, but essentially that's how Troy died in heaven. So it's kind of funny that the actor who played Troy died as Randolph, the way Troy was supposed to have died, but didn't.
Mm.
I like that, though. I like these sort of slight, the haunting. She's haunted by these older women who, like, really set the trajectory of her life into motion.
I will say this as I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, like, how terrible, like, what Philip did to her. Clara Sue's just a monster. Like, why didn't she just sell the hotel and leave with Jimmy?
Well, it's what she said at the beginning, I think, about family. She wanted this for Christy. You know,
she does, but like it's toxic. Like,
well, people don't always make the best choices, and I think think about it. Like you already said, all that she went through, she's probably not thinking straight. She's seeing visions of these women, but it's probably not. It's always easy to think externally, like, oh, she should do this or this. But if you think about it, it's probably the one place now that she feels safe. Remember, they grew up moving all the time.
True,
this is the first place, even though it was an awful place, that was kind of a home for her. That was the first place she could kind of now stay still. Again, it doesn't work out.
That's a good point.
Well, it doesn't work out,
move
but
the house.
Right, and that's exactly. I forget what it's called too. It's got a good name. Some place is called Buwella Woods, but I think that's where Bronson lives, or something.
Yeah, I think that is too.
You gotta hear me out here, okay?
Okay.
I think we gotta waste them.
I was like, what is happening?
I was like, what?
I know. I'm like, what?
Well, it's fun. They're giving them a little bit more of a sense of humor. I mean, they had jokes in the books too, that always sometimes landed, sometimes don't. I mean, these are a little bit more relatable jokes, like.
I'm just people.
And I mean, look at that. Like, you're really gonna get up and just move when that's your morning on the balcony.
It's pretty.
You should know you may have me to live.
I'm really liking Jimmy and Dawn.
Mm-hmm. Listen, the novel in Twilight's Child, Jimmy I found to be insufferable. But in this, he's very likable and supportive. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, a lot of it's intertwined with the Fern stuff, so we'll see. Oh, we jumped ahead quite a bit.
Yeah, we
here.
did.
Thank you.
Well, yes. But
She looks like she's straight out of the 80s.
I know, is that like the sort of perm they gave her? That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Even Jimmy's hair is
like it or not.
Yeah, and it's funny too when you look at the step back covers, especially Twilight's Child. Like even Dawn's hair is kind of permed. Like it's that definitely
Look
of
at
that
how,
time.
like they've tried to age her too.
Yeah.
Do something nice for you. You shoot it down.
I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to.
Oh, okay. They're over at his house.
Yes.
I was looking at that house, like the place again. I'm like, that's the first time I'm like, I don't think the hotel looks right. But it's not the hotel, it was his house.
I wonder, Dawn, give it for a while. There's something I've been wanting to discuss with you.
Maybe this is where it comes out.
Well, maybe, what about Clara Jean?
I think we're doing pretty good.
I understand. It's just your mother.
Yeah, it's true. I always found that relationship to be really interesting. As I've said in a couple episodes now, between Dawn and her mother.
Yeah.
But I want to see some Clara Jean too, and Philip. Like I said, it's like when you read the book, you want some Giselle, you want some Vera, you want some Clara Jean or Clara Sue, and some Philip and all that stuff too, like the dramas.
About you and Mother.
She told your grandmother the truth. You can imagine how she reacted.
So, it's just the colors right now, but the blues, that's actually what I always kind of envisioned her room to be like.
I don't know why I didn't envision it as blue. I guess when I think of blue, I think of Barbie.
Sure, but for whatever reason, that's what it always kind of was in my head.
There's more.
Okay, maybe.
I continued to be a comfort to you, Mother. Then eventually...
She had Clara Jean after...
Yes. Clara Jean isn't Randolph's daughter either.
See, and that's the thing, too, I always forget about when I start to reread the Cutler series and stuff. I remember, I know what's really going to happen with Dawn. I remember the Christie stuff, all that. But I always forget that about Clara Jean and that whole section.
So we're to assume that Randolph then knows that Clara Jean was not his kid. If they were never according to the adaptation.
Yeah, right. No, you're right.
It's just, you don't want to wake up one day.
But Randolph lived in his fantasy world, so it didn't really matter to him.
Yeah, because I remember Dawn and Bronson being very close.
Yeah.
Especially after this situation.
Well, because, Christie really does turn to him.
Yeah.
So he definitely had a presence, like I said, and that's why it was important to develop the relationship with Laura, even though it's strained. They are a big part of her life at this time.
Yeah, let you go first. Friends I want to do this. It's James and Dawn. We'll say
Hello.
It's a long story.
I got time.
Fern, I have time, not I got time, like a bum would say. But be polite. Mr. Osborne's.
Why did you just call him Mr. Osborne?
Look, we really just
Because Fern is like razor sharp.
We'll discuss your behavior later.
Can't wait.
She's great.
Yes.
I tried to have like zero expectation of Fern. I don't know why. I always figured it would never be good for some reason. Like to find a child that age who could like perform as this sort of smart, alecky though, precocious, dangerous, and she's perfect. Like she's you can see she's got it. I'm surprised.
It's getting windy.
Wasn't that guy inappropriate with her?
We'll see her again.
What guy?
Mr. Osborne.
The dad. Well,
or she claimed he was.
Yes.
I better fix the tarps in the shed.
You're going out now?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. She looks great.
Yep.
I mean, like, they did a good job with her.
Yeah, they did.
In fact, we're now at the point, like, this is, the Clara Sue is a kind of an adult, like, where she gets real vicious.
Uh-huh.
But, like, she looks great. Like, that is sort of how I imagined her.
What the hell to do with all my things? What are you talking about? My room. Everything I own is gone. That's where Mother lives now.
Oh, because Clara was gone for a while.
Yeah.
Filthy hands on my stuff. Clara Jean, you haven't lived here in like a decade. You come once or twice a year. I can't have you just showing up whenever you want to antagonize my family. You had no right to do this.
Yep. Ugh.
Why didn't you just stay gone? You cursed everybody by coming back. Grandma's dead.
it's terrible. But what we've been talking about, because we have such a good Dawn and such a good Clara Jean Sue, that was a scene that really just came to life for me right now. Like that's one of the scenes I remember so much in the novels and always being horrified about. But like, I don't know, in that moment, that's how I always pictured Dawn looking, sounding. That's how I always pictured Clara Sue looking, sounding. And that was a moment for me that just really came alive. And it's terrible and horrible, but like, there's a joy within me right now because it's what I wait for as a fan, to see those moments come to life.
Yeah.
Listen, Dawn, I have something to tell you. It's bad news.
Oh God, really seeing this come to life is heartbreaking.
There's no permanent damage. Okay, you can still have kids. The doctor said so.
It's so terrible, and like, yeah, these are the parts that I really kind of remember from Twilight's Child. And
So much.
well, I remember a scene where Clara Sue took Christy on like a ride with like her boyfriend.
Yeah.
But in the book, I feel like this was the last interaction with Clara Sue before what happens to her happens. Because I always wanted like a sort of resolution of like her realizing what she did to Dawn, that Dawn was pregnant, etc. But it doesn't come because of what happens. So I'm wondering if they're gonna still have that.
You don't have to keep it together from me. If you need to.
I'm still digging though the whole 80s vibe.
Yeah.
Which is sort of, even if it's not exactly the right timeline, it's a real tribute to when these books were, you know, not necessarily the color, because that started, I think, 1990 through the 90s, but the 80s was when V.C. Andrews was really at her height.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always really grateful for her relationship with Trish.
I am heartbroken at losing a grandchild too. And I will never forgive Clara Jean for what she did. I haven't been the mother to you that maybe you deserved. But if there is one thing that I have learned, but it's how you handle those hardships that makes you who you are.
I'm liking this scene.
Yeah.
It's really touching.
Yeah, again, they did have somewhat of a relationship, you know, and she really did bond with Bronson, you know. Oh, so this is going to be their little...
Yeah.
Built it up with the whole blindfold and everything.
I figured we need to get out of the hotel. Away from your ghosts. Finally have a place of our own.
Must have been kind of cold that day. You could see the
Yeah.
breath.
There was
coming
another,
out.
like, before he left, before they got married. It was also.
Because she
Again,
really... You
sorry.
go. You go.
I was going to say, again, I think she knew about it in the books.
Maybe, yeah. I was going to say she really, I remember, was really depressed for a long time. And that's also why I would get frustrated with Jimmy, because he was so, like, pushing her for... Now, the interesting part, that shot we just saw at the hotel, that is more how I thought of their house, that one that he just showed her, built the English Tudor style. Just a note. But I do like seeing it and all that.
How did you get here?
Oh, hi. I took a bus. No, please don't. I don't want to go back there. It's my father.
What about your father? Hey. Kurt, listen to me, okay?
I'm so torn because I'm trying to watch it as if I don't know all that, you know, that she's plotting, like...
Call the lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Betty Ann. Aunt Bet.
Forgot about Betty Ann.
Right.
Betty Ann, this is my sister, Donna.
Hi. Hi. Betty Ann. Philip never goes out of his way to introduce me to his lady friends, so it must be something special.
Look at us. We look exactly the same.
Yeah. Well, and I think in the book she didn't, but she would start to make her.
Yeah.
Like, he made her dye her hair blonde to
Yeah.
look like Dawn and stuff. But I'm fine with them just kind of being like...
Alike, yeah.
We were separated at birth.
Well, it was really nice to meet you.
Those shoes. Oh, the 80s.
Right.
No mother's going to kill you.
Again, they skipped to the part, like I said, I don't think Betty Ann looked like that at all. She did eventually.
Yeah.
They just kind of skipped ahead to making her look like that.
She has no idea
Too much. I don't mind it.
Was never your girlfriend, Philip.
You sure acted like you.
You just made a promise, Dawn. If you tell Jimmy what you promised not to, I'll hate you forever. So, did you take the money? Nope.
Again, it's such a bizarre experience watching stuff like this because it's like so terrible, but there's a joy because it's the stuff we read coming to life. So it's like just such a bizarre experience. Like, I'm excited that Dawn's being treated like crap by Fern because she should be. You know, it's a weird thing.
But they didn't give a specific reason.
I'm serious, Jimmy. I'm missing a nightgown, I'm missing a bottle of perfume, a few shoes.
You to blame Fern?
Oh, God.
I didn't say
There he
anything.
is. There's the Jimmy I get annoyed with.
Why do you always take Fern's side over mine? I mean, you see what she's doing, don't you? She's pitting us against each other.
No, she's not. She's
Yeah,
just...
she is.
I mean, who is Dawn without her tormentors? And maybe it's finally
Ugh.
hitting you that Lillian or Emily, they can't hurt you anymore. So you blame poor Fern. I hear you denying it.
So yeah, this is the Jimmy that drove me crazy in the books. Again, it seems like who knows how long it's going to go on because I feel like we're over halfway done with the movie. But in the book, it goes on and on and on and on and on of him doing that. It makes me nuts.
If it were me, I'd take a strap to that girl.
Has you been under a lot of stress recently?
We weren't going to announce it yet, but we just found out that we're pregnant.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's gotta be
With two of the worst twins ever.
Right.
More time sleeping seems pretty normal to me.
I do remember her going to Dawn about this in the books.
Yeah.
I like this scene.
Yeah.
Lindsay doesn't want to.
Yeah, no, this is all incredibly faithful.
Yeah.
Finding out that you're going
And we're on like broken record, but seeing it all come to
Mhm.
life has been just wonderful.
Sure. Wait. Congratulations.
For the most part, they've really, by here now, all the previous series and adaptations that have come, they're finally getting like their level.
This is how I. Sorry.
They're finally getting everything level and all that. What were you gonna say?
I love the beach. Like
Yeah.
that's how I really pictured Cutler's Cove.
Sure, yeah.
And it would be kind of hard to walk away from that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, see, and I feel like it was Philip that stole the nightgown,
Oh, yeah,
the
it
perfume,
was.
and all that. Yeah. Could you imagine? That's just so creepy.
Fern. What?
I feel like though this is something you would have been doing at
What do
Perkins,
you
like
think you're doing out
gambling
there,
with the
Chaz?
waiters or the
You're
cooks or
gambling
something.
about what? You're gambling.
Big surprise when I come back.
I've had enough surprises.
Trust me. This one's good. Come on.
Oh, I think this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But seriously, if I was Jimmy and Dawn had the life that she had, I would also be a little more understanding about surprises. She's had enough surprises, and
I needed to see you tonight.
oh, that's awful.
Mhm.
Get the hell out of my house.
Ugh.
I'm speechless. Like,
Yeah.
Christy, look.
Again, good scene.
Right. It's
Terrible,
right.
but good, like
It's coming to life,
it is.
everything. But again, it's horrible stuff coming to life.
Mhm.
But I was also thinking, like, just again, the ghost written stuff really is designed for more cinematic. It's easier to be adapted. Oh, is that Gavin?
Yeah.
It's not a puppy.
Everybody, this is Gavin. Gavin is my.
Get this? Come on, Gavin. I'll show you my room.
And we'll fall in love eventually.
Jacquie?
No, it's pro.
Well, and interestingly, I remember Fern. Now that she commented earlier that she felt abandoned by Ormond, or Green Daddy Longchamp. But if I remember correctly in the book, she really didn't want to see him. She wanted another. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So see, they flipped it.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive of this
Christy, go to your room, please.
because I feel like she
You are either super
took
ballsy or
Christy
super
first.
stupid to come back.
Because I remember always being like really disappointed that there was no resolution
Before involving the police.
to what she did about the baby. I could be wrong.
That's just the thing. Maybe it's not your property for Mom. You see, my friend Charlie.
Her look is fantastic.
Fantastic.
He's had a lot of legal dealings in the past. I can tell that by just looking at him.
Clara Jean explained to me that you always wanted Clara Jean to run the hotel after she passed.
Oh, that's awfully sweet.
Well, and it's funny because Lillian probably loved Clara Sue more than anybody, but Clara Sue was the least related to Lillian. Philip was her actual grandson. Dawn was technically her stepdaughter. Clara Jean was not at all related to Lillian, but that is who Lillian loved most. And it is probably why Clara Jean was so upset, because that was the one person she was closest to, was Lillian.
Lillian wouldn't have trusted Clara Jean.
Clara Jean.
No.
We've said a lot, perfect Dawn, but perfect Clara Sue, Clara Jean.
Mm-hmm.
Or not.
I told you that I'd make you pay one day.
And that 80s look is...
I wonder if she tells her. I don't think she did in the books.
Oh, no, I think she did. I think she did in the books. About her parents?
Yeah.
Or about, yeah. Yes, she does. Yep.
It's a secret.
There it is.
It's not really mine to tell, but your legal counsel here is kind of forcing my hand. Cutler's Cove belongs to the Cutlers. And there's only one Cutler in this room. I want to talk to her mother and her husband, Bronson. That was nose, by the way. Nice try.
And a lot does happen in Twilight's Child. You know, I feel like so many pages are devoted to how sad she is about the miscarriage and all this. But when you just strip it down to the events, a lot happens, you know, and it's good. It's you know, I think we all, for the most part, the Virginia, Flowers in the Attic, Heavens, you know, those will always be in our soul and our hearts. But Andrew Niederman obviously did a really great job. And at these times, you know, these were just as important to me.
No, what's not good for Fern?
Mm-hmm. She is perfect.
She is perfect, yeah.
Who says?
The principal called us Fern.
Yes, Jimmy. I promise to do better.
Great. You can start by doing that homework.
I'm torn. I don't know if the casting is better in this or in the Landry series. I'm leaning now towards this. Like,
Fern was very disruptive.
oh yeah.
And like even
well, and that's
more...
what it was. It's the combination of like she was dealing with Fern so much, and then the frustration of Jimmy never really wanting to see the truth. You know, it was just so overwhelming. But seeing it now played out here, I remember all this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dad? I go to bed.
Can I just take Fern?
You were right. I was wrong. But you baby, you.
So they were smart and not having it be how much he was like
Yeah.
so. I briefly talked about one of our other episodes, but Jimmy was just awful in Twilight's Child, and I was at a point where I was like, "Dawn, leave them all. Like, just leave them all. Like."
My Jim?
No. Michael.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember this.
And I feel like I remember in the novel her being almost like flutter, heart flutter about it. Like I said, in the last movie, she says, "I choose you, Jimmy." She didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
Michael left. I feel like if he hadn't left, things would have been... I think she may have chosen Michael. Maybe that'll be a future theory video down the road.
I can't tell you how nice it is to meet you, Chris.
And this is what I was saying in the last episode too. I think his age now would be closer where he is at Twilight's Child, and especially at Midnight Whispers.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm only staying a couple minutes.
I didn't came at all. Wow.
And the singing really did sell it. I was editing our last episode. You mentioned that, like, the singing really
I understand.
helped overlook a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's really good to remember, but I think I took you for your first cappuccino.
How can he be meeting Donna if he's a New Kids on the Block in the 80s?
What I did was so wrong and reprehensible, but I did fall in love with you, Don. That was real.
But now I'm just hanging tough.
What I did was cold and
He does not have the right stuff, baby.
It was cold and unforgettable.
I just want to see you la 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 tonight.
Goodbye.
Just step by step your way out of there. Okay? Sadly, we know
those are
way
all,
too many.
but I think those are all I know.
Don's a cover girl now. Okay? Just so you know.
my phone hasn't rung in a long time. I have
Another, again, good thing about these adaptations, like the Laundry series and the Cutler series, particularly, are keeping the same actors throughout each movie. You know, I still said I thought, you know, the actors who did If There Be Thorns were great in Seeds of Yesterday and If There Be Thorns, but I really thought the Petals on the Wind cast would have been better in If There Be Thorns, because you would have had more of an emotional connection.
Ever.
And here you can have that. And Lillian.
I make a point to do the opposite of anything.
This was the scene I started to see, and I was like, I can't watch it.
Look at how you're running this hotel. I am not a cutthroat monster.
No, but you're young. I have plenty of time to
Mhm.
learn. Her type can never learn. He's a weak, sitting hole.
I love that they're bringing them back into this.
I do too.
Because we didn't get enough of them,
Yes.
and they're bringing them back. It's
And I
wonderful.
don't, you know, I really think, you know, the 87 movie was always called kind of campy. I never really saw the campiness so much, but something about when they started to adapt these, they're like, oh, we got to make them a little campy. And I love that sort of,
Mhm.
Perfectly good suffering.
yeah, it's so good. Like, I think it's a good thing to add. I'm enjoying it.
100%, yes. It's like they had to cut them down,
Yeah,
but we're getting a little bit of it back.
correct, yeah. Like, you know what I always say, the essence is there. That is very V.C. Andrews Southern Gothic type of stuff.
Keep blackmailing me.
Sean. Don Longshank. Thought that was your voice I heard.
Oh, Mr. Updike.
I forgot about all this.
Yeah.
I love it.
This is Mr. Updike,
It's a pleasure to meet you.
my lawyer. Michael here is a big Broadway recording.
Work, but I do have his latest recording.
I can take care of the check. My daughter made that for you.
You changed, Don.
You noticed.
Loved it.
It was wonderful. Oh, look at that. See, that's what I picture.
Sure, yeah.
You're supposed to help me fix this.
Will you just drop this already? I'm getting sick of this.
I'm sick of you.
Didn't she actually die in a truck on the highway?
What the hell, Clarity? She's smart. You're not.
Ooh.
She's a worker, and you are a lazy slob.
Who do you think you're talking to? Do you know who my family is?
You're so drunk you forgot you aren't even one of them?
Ouch.
That Dawn?
It's pretty
is the
nasty.
culprit? You.
Oh.
Just
I
terrifying.
that's obviously different, but just as effective.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I am missing the scene where she doesn't really kidnap Christy, but it definitely brings up those memories for Dawn. But I mean, that's just as effective. What I was about to say was, it was interesting that you have a guy saying those jerky things, because most of the time, like, the antagonist boyfriends that come in the ghostwritten novels, whether it's Fern's boyfriend, Fanny's boyfriend, they're always so just like goo goo, like, I'll do whatever you want and say. So I like that he was sort of, fighting back against her, because that's different. But wow, yeah. But I will say I did miss that scene. But she was great in it, and I like that you got to see a little bit of her heartbrokenness there for a second.
Well, and you got to give her a little sympathy.
Yeah.
What brings you back to these folks? Jimmy, nice to meet you. You remember how she used to make all our food bitter with vinegar?
Okay, yeah. See, I remember something like that.
Some sugar for the tea at nighttime. But that night she reached for rat poison instead of her sugar.
I don't remember this, but I remember her doing stuff to the food all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, making it all vinegary.
Right, that's what I was...
The oatmeal specifically.
Yeah, but this I don't remember.
No.
I went her up in the wheelbarrow, dug up a hole that I hid destination since I was a young man. Surprised I still knew how.
I like this Luther. I didn't picture him like this in the novel.
Yeah.
He was very quiet.
Right,
Didn't
I don't
say
remember
much.
him ever being like
I don't
happy.
either. Yeah.
John, you came back.
I love the paintings in the background.
Right, I didn't see him, but I'm guessing...
Yes. They're the clown, like,
Okay.
she painted over us.
Yeah. I remember that from the book.
Yes.
I didn't see it, though.
This place looks better than I remember.
Closer to my shoulder.
Of course you did.
Why don't I remember her owning that in the book?
Oh, yeah, she did.
Did she? Okay.
Yeah.
She's deader than a squash cat. She ain't got no say on none of us anymore.
This is the parts I remember about Charlotte. She was like how she was in Secrets of the Morning, but this is more what I remember of Charlotte.
We did greatly obliged.
I love it.
Yeah, like I said, it's sort of how she got to still keep singing, but she did have to let go of everything else to stay here and do this. Run the hotel.
I figured out how to live the best life I can. I just have to cherish the people that bring the way to the show.
Oh, that's right. Christy plays the piano. Yeah.
Mr. James carry along too. Thank you.
She did always call him that.
Yes,
in
I was
novels.
just thinking that. It was like finally she said it, because she does call him that all the time.
Sweet.
Alright, what'd you think?
It is unbelievably amazing in so many ways.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I'm really liking about this right now is that Jimmy and Dawn really do seem like a happy couple.
Yes.
And in the books, it always felt very forced
I
to
agree
me.
completely.
But now I'm just like loving this love story of them. I don't know.
agree
It's just
completely.
like so different for me. I'm loving watching everything come to life. And even, like I said, the smaller changes don't bother me at all.
Yeah, I kind of said this sprinkled throughout, but I really feel like in the novels, yes, she does finally, in Twilight's Child, she does what she does with Michael in terms of recording him and getting him out of her life. But I do feel like it's almost like convenient that she ends up with Jimmy. Like that she is almost with Jimmy out of convenience, because I think she would have chosen Michael if Michael hadn't just left her. And I also feel like, yeah, because it is an advantage to the adaptation that we're not so much in Dawn's head, because it does almost feel forced a lot of times that she is sort of just letting go of all for 15, 16 years of her life, she thought this was her brother.
Yeah.
And you are sort of like, in her head, she's like, I have these feelings for Jimmy. And it just doesn't seem right. And I love the Cutler series. Like I said, that's the one I read right after Flowers in the Attic, Maestro Adrena, this before anything else. So at 13, 14, I didn't think much about it.
No.
But as I've read it a few times. I'd say every few years I come back to it again. And I read it again last year. And it does seem sort of forced, that like almost out of convenience. And I feel like there's almost this subtext of why Jimmy might be a jerk in Twilight's Child is because I think he knows that maybe Dawn wouldn't have chosen him. But I do like that in this, you believe their relationship.
Yes.
You see why they end up together. And it is an issue that I had with when we talked about who was Kathy's true love in and talking about the Lifetime adaptation of Flowers in the Attic. They really do set up the like her and Christopher are destined to be together. I don't think that's the case. It really wasn't until the end of Petals in the Wind when she talked to Paul that she was finally willing to be like, okay, I guess I'll be with Christopher. But the Lifetime movies really set it up that like it was their destiny to be together. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. And I know some of you think out there that it is, and that's cool. I always thought, about Bart, that that's her true love. But in this, it's almost having the opposite effect. I think they made the right choice in this about John, Jimmy and John. I think that they've made it more believable, more realistic, and you do feel like they're destined to be together.
Yeah, it fits. And I think what also helps with that, and what I appreciate about this adaptation, is that we didn't get as much of Dawn and Michael.
Yeah.
Because in the books, that's a significant period of the book that you really see like their relationship grow, and it's just absolutely devastating when he leaves because it is so detailed in the books.
Yeah.
Where in this adaptation, it's like you don't get as much of like how in love she really is with him. I mean, you get it, but he leaves, it's devastating. She's pregnant. Of course, Jimmy's the only one she has left. But now we're really seeing their relationship bloom.
Develop,
but in the books, you really see her and Michael more, and you get less of her and Jimmy.
Well, I think she even, when he comes back in the picture, her heart is fluttering.
Yes.
She is sort of like wanting to look good, and because I think she still has feelings for him. I think that just bodes well how this is doing well, and I think overall this was another perfect adaptation. Again, well, perfect for being not perfect, like as best as it's ever going to be. I think we have to always remember that no adaptation's ever going to 100% be it. But I think they're doing it. I thought they did a really great job, and so far I think Twilight's Child, this might be my favorite so far of the Dawn series. I liked everything. I liked that they finally really brought together Laura Jean, and Dawn's relationship, the whole Clara Sue. Now, if I'm going to nitpick, the only thing is I do wish they had had the scene. One of the most memorable scenes for me was when Clara Sue kind of kidnaps Christy with her boyfriend. They go like on this joyride, and I liked it because it really is a throwback to Dawn being kidnapped, and it brings out all those insecurities, so it's very thematic. I wish we had had that scene. But the stuff with Clara Jean, if you will, with the whole kicking and fighting Dawn, like I felt that, and I thought they did a really good job filming it. I thought the performances in those scenes were really, for me, this coming to life. Like those are the parts I really remember. And the Philip stuff too. Again, I thought it was great to see Dawn attack. Losing that element from the first book, from the first movie, it does change the dynamic of Philip and her relationship. But you still get the essence of it there. And I'm curious to see what they're going to end up doing with Philip in terms of the next book. Yeah. Because that's a pretty big part of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think, too, like, a little bit more of the creepiness of Philip comes out because they do hone in on the dress and the perfume.
Right,
which was part of the book.
And it's so creepy.
It was so creepy. Yeah. So, like, I like that they kind of brought some of that out. That scene was wonderful. It kind of ties it in to bring out the monster that we're probably going to see in the next book, or the next adaptation.
But overall, again, thought they did a great job. I liked them bringing back Donna Mills and the actress that played Emily. I like that sort of Southern Gothic, like ghosts that are haunting Dawn as she's trying to find the strength that they had without being horrible like those two women were. And I was glad to see Charlotte at the end. And overall, Fern, too. I thought Fern was great. I thought that I'm not going to lie, I didn't really talk about it because I was sort of nervous. I didn't think that they would be able to find a young actress that could play the sort of, you have to believe one side of Fern, but you also have to believe when she's being Fern-like, devious and all that. And everybody did a great job. They did a great job.
Absolutely fantastic.
All right, but what did you all think about it? Were you a fan of Twilight's Child? I know most of you are enjoying the Color series so far, so what did you think about this? Or are you not caring for it? Let us know. As always, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, please consider subscribing. Please comment below, and please give us a thumbs up. And we'll see you next time for Dawn Midnight Whispers.
John Amos